Millionaire sees Waitress holding the doll. He gave his missing daughter. What happens next is shocking. Hello, everyone, wherever you're watching from. Get ready for a story that will make your heart race. What if your daughter, who disappeared 16 years ago, the one you upended your world to find, had been right in front of you all along and you never even knew it? Don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Your support means everything in helping us spread this story far and wide. And drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always thrilling to see viewers joining us from every corner of the globe. In the dark corner of Chicago's Blue Anchor Bar, Daniel Harper, tech billionaire and mastermind behind a legendary AI empire, sat alone, haunted by memories of his daughter Sophia, who vanished at age 5. That night, waitress Mia Evans approached, her arms cradling a cloth doll, its purple silk dress, its curly brown hair, its hand-stitched eyes, identical to the custom gift Daniel had commissioned for Sophia. His heart stopped. His world swayed. Was that doll the guiding light he'd longed for, or a knife twisting into an old wound? A horrifying secret waited to be revealed, pulling Daniel into a journey to confront his past. 16 years. 16 years since Daniel Harper's heart shattered like a clock that stopped running, trapping him in an unforgettable moment. At 47, he was a Silicon Valley icon, the founder of Novatech, a multi-billion-dollar AI empire whose algorithms shaped the world. From an unknown coder, Daniel rose to build towers of fame, yet inside his Lake Michigan View penthouse in Chicago, he was just a broken father, living in a cold tomb of memories. Every night he sat there, eyes vacant, clutching the small framed photograph of Sophia, his 5-year-old daughter, bright-smiled with sky-blue eyes, who had vanished, taking his soul with her. That day in April at Piedmont Park, Atlanta, a gentle breeze stirred the canopy above, and Sophia, her golden hair streaming, skipped across the lawn after a red ball. Her laughter rang like wind chimes. Daniel had promised to take her to the zoo to see her beloved giraffes. But a crisis at Novatech, a system failure threatening millions, kept him locked in his office, cold sweat pouring as he realized he could not leave. He left Sophia in his wife Elena's and the nanny's care. Hours later, Elena's call ripped his world apart. "Daniel, Sophia is gone." Her voice choked with horror. Sophia had chased her ball and then suddenly vanished. No witnesses, no trace, only the custom-made cloth doll Daniel had commissioned, its silk dress and curly hair abandoned on the grass, a cruel joke of fate. Daniel refused to accept it. He poured every resource into finding Sophia. He hired former CIA agents who turned the underworld upside down. Sophia's face flashed on billboards from Atlanta to Seattle, haunting the nation. He hacked Interpol databases, grilled every ice cream vendor in the park, reviewed hours of security footage until his eyes burned. He funded a special task force, offering multi-million-dollar rewards, despite con men preying on his grief. But every lead vanished as though Sophia had never existed. Each passing day was another blade cutting into his heart. Elena, unable to bear the suffocating silence and accusatory looks, blamed Daniel for choosing work over their child. Their marriage collapsed. Elena left, taking the last shards of family with her. Daniel did not blame her. He blamed himself, a father who had failed at the most crucial moment. Now Daniel lived alone in that cold penthouse, where the city lights never reached the darkness within him. Sophia's crude pencil sketches, houses, suns, and giraffes still hung on his bedroom walls like unhealing scars. In a glass display case in the living room lay Sophia's cloth doll, motionless. It was a craftsmanship piece, its silk skirt shimmering, its golden curls soft, made by Daniel to comfort her after a nightmare. He remembered every moment she hugged it, whispering childish secrets, those blue eyes shining with the belief that her father would always protect her. Now the doll was a relic of a stolen life, a merciless reminder that he had broken his promise. He dared not touch it for fear the memory would shatter, yet each glance felt like his chest was being crushed. Every night Daniel sat by the window, a trembling glass of liquor in hand, eyes lost among the skyscrapers. He dreamed of Sophia's laughter, bright as chimes, echoing through incomplete dreams. Some nights he wept silently, gripping her photo frame as tears streamed down. He did not pray or beg. He only believed, with a painful intensity, that Sophia was still out there, waiting for him to come for her. But that belief was also a blade, cutting deeper each day. Daniel was no longer the man of 16 years ago. His success, his empire, all were meaningless without Sophia. He drifted through boardrooms and lavish parties like a ghost, a practiced smile hiding a bleeding heart, yet deep down, a faint spark of hope still burned, tiny, fragile, keeping him alive day by day, waiting for a miracle he dared not be sure would come. In the shadowed corner of the Blue Anchor Bar in Wicker Park, Chicago, Daniel Harper sat quietly, the dim light glinting off the trembling glass of whiskey in his hand. The scratched wooden floor creaked underfoot, and the scent of stale beer mingled with the mournful jazz melody, a whisper from the past. This was where Daniel fled, not from the world, but from himself. From Novatech's glare and the 16-year ache of losing Sophia. He came to forget, to die slowly in memory. But tonight, fate had woven an invisible thread, drawing him toward a young woman and a doll that stopped his heart. Daniel sat in his usual spot, his gaze drifting over the noisy crowd, until Mia Evans passed by, her slender form weaving between drunken patrons. The 23-year-old waitress moved with practiced grace, her loose blonde hair framing deep blue eyes that held an ocean of sorrow. Under her arm, she cradled a doll, its purple silk dress and brown curls stitched with exquisite detail. Daniel froze, his whiskey glass tipped, a few drops spilling onto the table. This was no ordinary doll. It was Clara Voss's one-of-a-kind creation, the gift he had commissioned for Sophia, his daughter lost 16 years ago. His heart thundered, as though it would shatter his chest. It could not be coincidence. That thought became a whirlwind, sweeping away reason and filling him with both hope and dread. Mia was unlike any other waitress. She worked double shifts, sweat beading on her brow, to support her 3-year-old son, Noah. But what held Daniel's gaze was the doll. Mia hugged it like a treasure, clamped under her arm, and sometimes stroked its purple silk skirt as if comforting a friend. Once, when the bar was empty, she placed it on the counter and whispered to it in a voice so soft only the darkness could hear. That gesture was achingly familiar. Daniel remembered how Sophia had gripped her doll, how she'd smoothed its skirt just as Mia did now. Each of Mia's movements was a knife, reopening wounds he'd tried to bury, but also igniting a reckless hope. Could Mia be Sophia? The thought was a double-edged sword, both light and shadow, threatening to tear him apart. Night after night, Daniel became a shadow at the Blue Anchor. He sat there, a cold coffee replacing his whiskey, his eyes locked on Mia. He hated himself. A stalker, a desperate father clinging to an illusion. But he could not stop. The way Mia tilted her head in exhaustion, the forced smile she offered patrons, each reminded him of Sophia. His heart screamed that it wasn't coincidence, though his reason warned he was fooling himself. He needed answers, even if they might save or destroy him. Daniel called Jack Riley, a private investigator with ice-cold eyes who had once worked on Sophia's disappearance. "Find out about her," Daniel ordered, his voice hoarse, each word a stone on his chest. "Every detail. Don't overlook a thing." Riley's report arrived swiftly, but it was as fragile as paper in the wind. Mia Evans, 23, an orphan adopted at age 4 after time in a Denver orphanage. No birth certificate, no trace of her birth parents. Her adoptive parents died when she was young, leaving her to battle life alone. She lived in a cramped apartment above a bakery, waitressing to raise her son, Noah, a boy with a brilliant smile. In her adoption file, a brief note. "The doll is inseparable." No one knew its origin. Daniel read the report, his hands trembling, each line hammered into the shell he had built to survive 16 years. Mia was not just a waitress. She might be Sophia, his lost light, standing before him yet further away than ever. Daniel sat in his cold penthouse, the crumpled report on the table, Sophia's doll in its glass case seeming to watch him. He closed his eyes. The image of Mia smoothing the doll's skirt merged with memories of Sophia whispering secrets as she hugged it to sleep. Hope and fear intertwined, strangling him. If Mia was Sophia, why had he not recognized her? If she was not, why did his heart scream? He could not sleep. That night, the Chicago lights blinked beyond the window, but Daniel saw only darkness. One question haunted him. Could that doll be the key to reopening the door he had believed forever closed? Dear beloved audience, please take a moment to relax or sip a glass of water, then continue listening to the story, for there are more surprises ahead. And please let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always thrilling to see viewers joining us from all around the world. Comment number 1 if you enjoyed the story, so we can keep bringing you even more captivating tales. Daniel could not wait any longer. In the corner of the Blue Anchor bar, the dim light fell on his haggard face. 16 years of suffering etched into every line. Mia Evans set down an empty tray, the purple silk-dressed doll clutched under her arm. Her hands trembled from exhaustion after her shift. Daniel rose and approached, his heart pounding. His voice shook, as if afraid his words might shatter the fragile hope between them. "Mia, that doll, where did you get it?" Mia looked up, her deep blue eyes wary, weary from life's harshness. "I've had it since I was little," she replied, her tone guarded as though building a wall. "I don't know where it came from. Why do you ask?" Her words cut deep, reopening the wound of Sophia within Daniel. He told her about Sophia, his daughter lost 16 years ago, her smile once his beacon of light, and the purple silk doll he'd specially commissioned, identical to the one Mia carried each day. Every word was a blade, ripping at his heart. He asked for a DNA test, not to force her, but to end the nightmare screaming in his mind. Yet he feared the truth, feared it might confirm that Sophia still lived, or extinguish his hope forever. "Just to be sure," he said, his voice hoarse as though pleading. Mia gripped the doll tighter, as if clutching her anchor. The notion that she could be the daughter of a billionaire struck at her pride. She was Mia Evans, the mother of Noah, a woman who'd battled hunger and loneliness in an orphanage. But Daniel's eyes, sincere, broken, made her waver. After a heavy silence, she nodded. "Okay," she whispered, "but to prove you wrong." Inside, an invisible dread gnawed. What if her life was one long lie? They met at a laboratory in downtown Chicago. The tension felt like a tightened string ready to snap. Mia crossed her arms, her fingernails pressed into her palms to steady her trembling. She told herself that Noah was her whole world, yet a tiny voice whispered, what if the past was not what she believed? Daniel sat opposite, his gaze locked on her, as if fearing she might vanish like Sophia. He dared not hope, yet could not stop longing. Each second of waiting was a knife tearing through the shell he'd built to survive 16 years. When the technician drew their samples, the metallic click of vials sounded like the drumbeat of fate. The 3-day wait was hell. Daniel could not sleep, his mind flooded with memories of Sophia, her laughter like chimes, her small hands wrapped around him. He feared the result, yet feared more living forever in doubt. Mia, in her cramped apartment, held Noah asleep, the doll at his pillow. She told herself she did not care, but her dreams were filled with hazy images of a park, a ball, a father she did not recall. On the 3rd day, they sat opposite in a coffee shop. The aroma of roast beans did nothing to soothe the tension. Daniel held the envelope containing the results. His hand shook so badly the paper nearly fell. He tore it open. His eyes raced over the lines, and the world stopped turning. Mia Evans was Sophia, his biological daughter. His heart exploded, joy mingled with pain, as if finding light that might flicker out. He looked at Mia, wanted to hold her, to weep, but her face went ashen, her eyes wide with shock and confusion. "No." She shook her head, her voice choked. "I am Mia Evans, Noah's mother. I don't remember Atlanta. I don't remember you." Her words were blades, shredding Daniel's hope. She rose, the chair creaked, and she walked away, leaving him with the crumpled envelope and a silence without words. Mia collapsed in her apartment. She clutched the doll until her fingers turned white. Her life, the years of solitude, the betrayals, the nights spent crying in the orphanage, had revealed itself as a lie. She did not want to be Sophia, did not want to belong to a man she did not recall, even if he was broken. She only wanted to be Noah's mother, the woman who had built a life from nothing. But the doll, with its stitched eyes, seemed to whisper secrets she was not ready to confront. Daniel, in his cold penthouse, knelt beside Sophia's doll in its glass case. Joy at finding his daughter clashed with anguish. He had lost her too long, and now she would not be his. Yet he would not give up. He swore to uncover the truth, whatever the price, to reclaim whatever had stolen Sophia from him. Jack Riley dug relentlessly, determined to unearth Mia Evans's past as though turning the yellowed pages of an old book. Each night, in his coffee-stained office, he followed slender leads that revealed a secret shaking Daniel Harper's very core. Mia's adoption file tore open an old wound, pulling Daniel back to a fateful day 16 years ago in Nashville. After a grueling conference, Daniel, exhausted and distracted, drove through crowded streets. his mind whirling with numbers and contracts. He failed to notice the car ahead until it was too late. Metal crashed like a scream, and the vehicle of 25-year-old musician Anna Reed flipped over. Anna survived, but her injuries triggered premature labor. Mia, a daughter she was unprepared to raise. In pain and desperation, Anna spiraled into addiction and ultimately surrendered Mia to a foster center. The purple silk doll lying in Anna's car at the crash site passed to Mia as an anonymous keepsake, a fragile thread linking her to a past she never knew. Daniel sat in his cold penthouse. Riley's report lay before him, but guilt spun through his mind. He remembered that day, the ambulance siren, Anna's terrified eyes through shattered glass. He'd anonymously covered her medical bills, believing it would soothe his conscience. Now he saw that crash had set off the tragedy that stole Sophia from him. His heart felt crushed by an unmovable stone. He had unwittingly destroyed Anna's life, and in doing so, lost his own daughter. Yet the story did not end with this painful coincidence. Riley dug deeper, and the truth cut like a dagger through Daniel's survival shell. Ethan Reed, Anna's brother and a cold-eyed con man, blamed Daniel for his sister's ruin. Ethan's revenge morphed into a merciless plot to kidnap Sophia and extort Daniel, forcing him to pay with the greatest pain a father could endure. Ethan's plan collapsed in chaos. 5-year-old Sophia, bright-smiled and innocent, was abandoned at a Denver church, frantic and alone, stripped of her identity. Her kidnappers vanished, and Sophia became Mia, a child lost in a cold foster system. Ethan himself disappeared into the shadows, leaving an unsolvable mystery. But Riley persisted. He traced the trail to a Denver adoption agency, where children like Sophia had their identities erased in exchange for money. Behind the agency stood Senator Robert Callahan, a powerful man with a false smile who had covered up a series of kidnappings to protect high society secrets. Daniel read the report. His hands trembled. Each line felt like a hammer blow to his heart. He had lost Sophia not only to his accident, but to a criminal network that swallowed her whole, rebirthing her as a stranger. Mia, in her cramped apartment above the bakery, clutched her doll until her fingers turned white. She knew nothing of the accident, Anna or Ethan, yet the doll remained her anchor, the only constant through years of loneliness. One night, repairing a tear in the doll's purple silk dress, she discovered a hidden scrap of paper. A childlike, trembling scrawl read, "Papa, I am here. Please save me." Sophia's cry for help, penned in the terror of a 5-year-old, stabbed into Mia's heart. She collapsed into tears, bewildered at the pain those words unleashed. She did not remember Atlanta, did not remember a father, yet the note awoke a void within her, as though a memory had been stolen. She feared facing the truth, feared that she was not solely Mia Evans, Noah's mother, but also the missing child of another man. Daniel, in his penthouse, knelt before Sophia's doll in its glass case. When Riley sent him the image of Mia's hidden note, he wept, sob after sob tearing at his chest. Sophia's plea, written 16 years ago, proved she had never stopped waiting for him. Pain and resolve ignited within him like a flame in darkness. He had found Sophia, but she did not wish to be his daughter. A greater mystery remained, the network that had stolen her identity. Daniel clenched the scrap of paper. He vowed to expose every secret, no matter the cost, to restore the truth for Sophia, for Mia, and for himself. Daniel Harper and Mia Evans embarked on a fragile journey, as though walking a taut wire between hope and pain. In Daniel's cold penthouse, Chicago's lights blinked beyond his window, yet his heart fixed on Mia, his newly found daughter, still distant as a shadow. Mia, in her cramped apartment above the bakery, cradled Noah to sleep, the purple silk-dressed doll resting at his pillow. She waged a fierce battle with her identity. She was Mia Evans, the mother of Noah, who had rebuilt her life from the fragments of loneliness and abandonment. But Sophia, the bright-smiled little girl in the missing photo, remained a stranger, a name she did not wish to bear. Each time she looked at Noah with his shining eyes, she told herself she did not need a past, yet an invisible void inside her screamed for the truth. Daniel, haunted by guilt, felt every breath as an unspoken apology. He had inadvertently caused the accident that stole Anna's life, the birth mother of Mia, and had indirectly plunged Sophia into darkness. He longed to draw close to Mia, to make amends for 16 years of loss, but he feared that any step might push her further away. He held back, daring only to stand at a distance, his gaze full of love yet weighed down by anguish. Noah, the 3-year-old with the radiant smile and love of trains, became an unexpected bridge. Daniel sat on the park bench, patiently helping Noah assemble a toy train set. The boy's laughter rang like medicine for his wounded heart. One day, Noah looked up, his eyes sparkling, and called out, "Grandpa!" Daniel froze. Tears welled in his eyes. His heart melted. That name was light, but also a reminder that he must win Mia's love, not by imposing, but by patience. Mia kept her distance, like a bird accustomed to a cage, afraid to fly free even though the door was open. Yet she could not deny Daniel's love. Not the love of a billionaire, but of a broken father willing to kneel for her forgiveness. She sensed it in his eyes, in the way he silently waited outside the bar after her shift to ensure her safety. But her past still haunted her. The years in the orphanage, the nights spent clutching her doll and crying, convinced no one wanted her. Those memories were a scar that refused to heal. She feared that accepting Daniel meant denying Mia Evans, the resilient woman who had stood on her own. In rare moments of rest, Mia found solace in music. She discovered the passion of her birth mother, Anna, through old recordings found in a keepsake box. She began composing, her sorrowful ballads echoing through the Blue Anchor bar, her trembling voice recounting loss and hope. The audience fell silent, feeling her pain in every note. Daniel, seated in the corner, listened with his heart in a vice. He funded a small studio for Mia, not out of charity, but as a vote of confidence in her talent, his way of saying he saw her not only as Sophia, but as the strong woman before him. Mia accepted the gift, her heart torn between gratitude and doubt. Yet she composed more, as though music was the only path to confronting her past. Together with Jack Riley, they exposed the Denver Adoption Agency, a criminal network shielded by Senator Robert Callahan. Every document Riley uncovered felt like a blade, revealing how children like Sophia had their identities erased for the benefit of the powerful. Daniel and Mia, still girded by distance, resolved to unmask the truth, their fight a shared path toward healing their wounds. One night, while repairing the doll's skirt, Mia discovered a hidden note in childish handwriting. "Mommy's melody. Keep singing." Mia wept, realizing her birth mother had never ceased to love her, despite fate's cruel separation. That message ignited a spark within her, the belief she could be both Mia and Sophia, that she need not choose. Their story spread. Mia's ballads became symbols of hope, playing on radio stations nationwide. Daniel established the Sophia Harper Foundation, supporting missing children and their families, a salve upon his past failings. At one performance, Mia sang, her eyes searching the crowd for Daniel. He smiled. Tears silently traced his cheeks. They were not father and daughter in the fullest sense, yet they were two wounded souls learning to mend, step by step, with Noah as their guiding light. 18 years after the disappearance, Daniel, Mia, and Noah stood in Piedmont Park, where it all began. The April breeze carried the scent of blossoms. Noah ran across the grass, clutching his new doll, dressed in red and named Melody, crafted by Clara Voss just for him. Mia, now a renowned musician, held her old doll, which she called Harmony, and a final note from Sophia, hidden at the doll's heart, appeared. "Papa, I knew you would find me." Daniel and Mia embraced, their tears mingling, the past no longer a burden, but the story they carried forward. Callahan was brought to light. The adoption agency collapsed. Reforms spread throughout the system. Mia's songs rang out around the world. The Sophia Harper Foundation reunited dozens of families. In the park, Noah flew a music note-shaped kite, his laughter echoing through the air. Mia looked at Daniel and smiled. They were a family. Not perfect, but whole. The final image was Mia's guitar beside Harmony. A ballad rose, telling of loss, love, and the light that guides us home. The story of Daniel, Mia, and Noah proves that love and hope can conquer any darkness, whether 16 years of loss or terrifying secrets. It teaches us to cherish family, listen to our hearts, and never give up, because the truth always finds a way to shine. Mia's art and the Sophia Foundation remind us that we can all transform pain into light for the world. To everyone in the U.S., from Chicago to Atlanta, let this story touch your heart. What do you think of their journey? If you were Daniel, what would you do upon finding your child after so many years? Comment your thoughts below. We read every comment and love your insights. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread hope far and wide. Hit the bell so you won't miss our next inspiring story. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.